Folks, this is the QQ190 tank frame from Quad Questions. I've just finished building it up, and I humbly submit that I did a really good job building it, and I'm going to show you some of the things I think I did right. You have those builds where everything goes wrong and everything is screwed up, and eventually it probably flies, but this was not one of those. This one, everything went really well, really right, and I'm really very happy with it. And so I thought I'd make a video showing you some of the things I think went right about it. Let me tell you what else is on it. These are the venerable. Are they venerable yet? They certainly are popular. Red bottom Emax 2205 2600 kV motors. I do like the high kV motors. These are Cicada BLHeli 20 amp ESCs provided by Multi-Rotor Mania. Oh, by the way, the motors were provided by AsiaTees. Thank you, AsiaTees. The camera is an XAT600 or 1177, also provided by AsiaTees. The board is the FPV model Xracer F303 V3, 8 kilohertz. Here I come. Yay, 8 kilohertz. Let me show you how this comes apart. Now, I've got the screws loosened. I ran the wires so that the camera pod will just lift right off like that. And if I move the antenna out of the way, you can see these wires coming out from the back so that the camera pod can simply set aside and lay down. And that's really nice. And then I used my own tip to hinge your stack. And this lifts off. It's a little harder to do with the antennas in the way. I should run the antennas differently, but I'm not sure. Maybe run the antennas over the top of the board would be smarter. And yeah, that would be smarter. I'm going to do that after I finish making this video. You can see it's kind of getting in the way of the hinge. But all the other wires nicely hinge and the flight control board lifts off. I've got the receiver completely depinned, manually soldered. I showed how I do that in my Mixuko build video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I run a wire for RSSI and for SmartPort telemetry. Everything else is depinned. Nice, neat little wire coming around to the signal pads here, to the UART for the SmartPort, and going to the ROSD. By the way, ROSD, thank you Red Rotor. Plugs for them as well. Going to the ROSD for RSSI. So the whole thing really is just very neat, goes together very nicely. I'm very pleased with all of it. Notice also how look at how I mounted the buzzer. I think this is the best way to mount a buzzer on these F303 boards. The one pin goes there, the other pin sort of bends back, and you have to put a little blob of solder to get it to jump the gap, but it works just fine. You do have to have enough of a standoff here that you have enough space to mount this underneath and clear the board. So if you do an ultra low profile build, this method won't work, but I think that's how I'm going to do it from now on. So there you go. Really pleased with how this went together, taking the principle of hinge your stack and make it so that you can sort of take each part aside and lay it down for maintenance. I can get at any part of this that I need to get at. I can see I've got the receiver button and LED here. If I need to bind it, I can get at that. I can get at the top of the board to push the bootloader button, the USB. Anything I need to get at, I can easily get at. Even though this is direct soldered, it's still relatively maintainable. That's all for now. Looking forward to getting this in the air, maybe tomorrow. In the meantime, happy flying.